Welcome to the Becoming You show, where limits get torched and possibility takes the mic. I'm Leah Rowling, human in permanent beta, neurostrategist, mom to 3 amazing humans, married to 1 legendary soul, and your no fluff permission slip to stop waiting. Every week, we rewire brain patterns, smash hand-me-down mindsets, and dive into the daring, identity-shifting conversations most people dodge. Ready to turn potential into proof? Grab your pen. Your next chapter starts now. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Becoming You show. I'm your host, Leah Rowling, and I'm so excited that you're tuning in to this conversation. This is an episode that I have been wanting to record for a really long time because emotional pain, emotional struggle isn't the problem. Our interpretation of it is. Our avoidance of it is. Our belief that it should be different than it is, right? I want you to think about this. We have normalized physical adversity, right? But we have minimized emotional adversity, called it out as bad, called it out as not awesome, right? Today, in this conversation, we're going to reverse that. We're going to talk about adversity, emotional adversity as an asset, emotions as signals, pain, emotional pain as training, and the idea that emotional struggle is not only normal, my friends, but it is necessary. So I want you to think about this for a moment, and it's kind of an idea that I've been playing out as I've been having conversations with my clients. We have entire industries, think about this, built on teaching people how to endure pain, right? We have gyms, we have CrossFit boxes, we have HIIT classes, we have yoga studios, we have spin studios, we have Orange Theory, Soul Cycle, right? We literally pay money, lots of it, to get uncomfortable. We pay trainers in the gym, right, to give us more than we can handle, to give us heavier weights than we've ever lifted before, and we pay them to do that. We pay them to put us into harm's way, to rip the muscle, right? I want you to think about this, right? We hire these people to push us, to challenge us, to get us outside of our comfort zone. We brag about being sore. We expect pain after a hard lift. As a matter of fact, we not only expect it, we normalize it, right? There are protocols for us to do after a workout. Post-nutrition, post-stretching, post-recovery. All of these things, there are protocols for, right? We don't spiral into despair when our legs shake or when we can't sit down on a toilet because we're so sore. We kind of laugh about it. We high-five people about it. We understand the formula. We rip the muscle in order to repair it, in order to strengthen it. That's all normalized. But when it comes to emotions, totally different rules, totally different. We avoid, we buffer, we panic, we shut down, we shame ourselves for feeling something painful. Why? Why do we honor one type of pain and demonize the other? Right? Think about it. Physical pain is socially approved. Emotional pain, I think, is socially misinterpreted. And yet, what we forget, friends, is emotional pain is just the mind growing the way muscles grow. You cannot build emotional strength while staying emotionally comfortable by way of avoiding and buffering and all of the things, right? Just like you cannot build physical strength while staying physically comfortable, right? Which brings us to something that I want everyone listening to adopt as a core belief. Adversity, by way of emotional struggle, emotional pain, is the gym for your mind, is the gym for your heart, is the gym for your nervous system, is the gym for your emotional capacity. So many of us treat adversity like a punishment, as if something terrible has gone on and gone wrong, right? But adversity is practice. It is emotional training. It is mental conditioning, right? I want you to think about this. Physical adversity strengthens the body. Emotional adversity strengthens our mind, how we feel, and ultimately our identity. Our identity. Your willingness to experience emotional discomfort determines your capacity for leadership, for intimacy, for creativity, for innovation, for success. Avoiding emotional discomfort is the fastest way to shrink your life. Seeking emotional honesty is the fastest way to expand it. Okay? So now I want to go into something just a little bit deeper, because most of us have never been taught this. And I want to bring it forward to you in a way that is soft, delicate, but also firm and challenging. Okay? I want you to think about this idea in this way. Every single problem, okay? Every problem that we have, every problem that if we were on the phone together talking about problems, I would offer to you. Every problem is a thought problem. I'm going to say that again. Every problem we have is a thought problem, meaning the only thing that makes anything a problem, and I want you to think about it, is what we think about it. The only reason there's a problem is because there is a feeling associated with it. The feeling is the problem. The only reason it's difficult or challenging or hard is because of the way it makes us feel, right? And if you know my work and you've been a listener of me for a while, you know the only reason why we feel, is because we think. We have a thinking mind that creates a feeling body. Okay, and that's the problem, or the problem that we label, right? This isn't about blame. This is about complete liberation. When we blame the circumstance, the person, the event, what we do is we literally hand them the keys to our emotional world, to our emotional regulation. Okay? But when you own everything, right? When you take radical ownership, radical responsibility for how you think, ultimately, right? As we think, ultimately, that's the problem, right? If you take responsibility for your thinking, you take back control of your life, of your strength, of your peace, of your power. And this is where people get uncomfortable, because radical responsibility forces you to stop outsourcing your emotional life. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. I'm bringing this all together for us today. Just like nobody can lift weights for you, nobody can feel feelings for you, right? You have to do the work. I can't send someone to the gym and ask them to do an extra set of push-ups and a couple of miles on the treadmill so that I can become stronger through their reps. It doesn't work that way, right? You also cannot send someone else into your emotional life and become stronger through their processing, right? We don't get fitter while someone else does burpees, and we don't get emotionally strong while blaming and delegating our emotions on other people, events, and situations. We get strong by taking radical ownership of whatever we might label a problem only because of our interpretation to it, because of our mind, and ultimately our feelings. Does this make sense? So let's apply it. Let's apply it. In leadership, here's what I see all the time, right? We don't want to have hard conversations because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We don't want to not be liked. We don't want other people to be upset. We don't want them to leave, whatever it is, right? But at the end of the day, in reality, we don't want to feel uncomfortable ourselves, right? We think, right, sparing them discomfort is kind, but it's actually just avoidance disguised as kindness, okay? If you never challenge someone, I want you to consider this. I want us parents to consider this, us moms and dads. I want us to consider this as children that, are now taking care of our parents. If you've got teens, right? If you never challenge them, you never grow them. Okay? If you don't grow them, you never strengthen them. You never trust them with the truth. You never teach them a different standard. You never build a deep relationship. When we treat their emotional life like it's fragile, right? And perhaps unconsciously, right? We treat our emotional life the same way. Just like weights in the gym, right, are required for us to get practice, get reps, to get stronger. Hard conversations are the reps, right? And withholding hard truth to avoid discomfort is the emotional version of handing someone 2-pound dumbbells and calling it a workout, right? It's not kind. It's not kindness, right? Your team deserves truth that grows them, deserves feedback, deserves to be challenged, deserves to be invited into a potential, just like a personal trainer does to somebody at the gym, right? You go to pick up the 15 pounds and they're like, not today, Leah. We're going to try the 20s. And then I say, I've never done the 20s. It's like, I know. I'm not upset with him or her, whoever my trainer is, that they do that. I actually have a deeper level of respect for them because they believed in me before I believed in me. As a leader, that's inherent in the definition of what it means to be an effective leader. To see a possibility in somebody, to believe in them before they can believe in themselves, right? How would you feel if your trainer handed you 2-pound dumbbells? You'd kind of be like, is this a joke? Where's the trust in me? Where's your faith in me? Do you really think that this is all I can lift? Do you really think that I'm that fragile? That this is all I can handle? Do you see the parallel? We would never do that in a gym. But in real life, in our emotional life, we do it all of the time. We act as though we're all delicate when really we're just not practiced. We're not practiced at navigating difficult conversations. We're not practiced at allowing people to sit in some discomfort in order for them to get stronger. So we avoid it. So that's what happens in leadership. Let's talk about parenting. Let's talk about kids, right? Because this is where emotional fragility gets inherited, right? We want our kids to eat clean, right? We want them to go to the gym. We want them to push themselves in sports. We want them to learn grit, to learn discipline, to learn effort, to learn priority management, right? All these things. But emotional discomfort? Oh, heck no. We swoop right in, right? Right? We rescue, we soften the blow, we do everything that we can to remove the struggle, to fix it. Why? Why do we do that? I think we do that. I think for sure there's a part of us that does that because we don't want them to be uncomfortable. But then I want us to ask ourselves why we don't want them to be uncomfortable. But then I think the real reason is because their discomfort makes us uncomfortable, right? We say, I don't want them to suffer, right? But we allow, even expect physical discomfort. We applaud physical adversity. We're the first ones to get their baths ready after a tough football practice. The ice baths ready, right? We're on standby for the protocols for post recovery. We expect hard practices, hard work, sore muscles. We expect growing pains. Why don't we expect emotional ones? Why don't we welcome emotional soreness in the same way that we welcome physical soreness? Why don't we normalize the discomfort that actually builds their identity, their confidence, their resilience way more than some physical soreness? I think it's like with every other tool that we talk about on this podcast. It's not taught, right? We're not taught how to think. We're not taught how to feel. We're taught about physical fitness and what it means to get stronger and how to eat better. And we have nutrition classes and we go to PE, right? That's why it's normalized. But emotions aren't. We still think emotional pain is danger, but it's not. It's data, it's development, it's strengthening. So let's put this very plainly. Emotions are normal. All of them. All of them. Right? Joy, grief, fear, frustration, shame, disappointment, hope, insecurity, excitement, embarrassment, sadness, delight, overwhelm. Every emotion is welcome. I promise you, you have the physiology to handle it. Just like we have the physiology to handle any sort of physical soreness. You have it to handle it. You do. I promise you this is true. What we struggle with is what I mentioned earlier, the avoidance and the buffering. It doesn't know what to do with that. But emotions, it knows what to do with. Every emotion is a message, a signal, a sensation. We don't suffer because we feel emotions, as I mentioned. We suffer because we resist, we judge, we buffer, we avoid, we deny them. Emotional pain then only becomes suffering when we believe it shouldn't be happening and when we blame it on somebody else. Because if we blame our emotions on somebody else, it's equivalent to me giving my weights and a treadmill to somebody else in hopes that their work will make me stronger. It doesn't. It doesn't. So I'm going to say that again. Emotional pain only becomes suffering when we believe it shouldn't be happening, one, and two, when we blame that emotion on somebody else. Because if it's somebody else's fault, we are forever screwed. And we will never create the resilience, and we will never be able to turn adversity into the asset that it is for our life. And that belief that it shouldn't be happening, right? That emotion is a problem, creates just more emotions, right? We become frustrated that we're frustrated, or we're angry that we're angry, right? But if they weren't problems, and they're not, friends, they're indicators, they're information, they're invitations to become more emotionally aware, more emotionally flexible, more emotionally strong. When you avoid emotional discomfort, you pay. I want to talk about the cost of emotional avoidance because it's really important, right? We know the cost of physical avoidance, right? Cardiovascularly, we're not as strong, right? Our bone health isn't as strong. Our posture isn't as great. Like, we know the cost of physical avoidance. We know it well. But do we know the cost of emotional avoidance? Here's how we pay. We pay in unnecessary anxiety. We pay in resentment. We pay in burnout. We pay in numbing. We pay in buffering, and all of the things that buffering creates for us by over drinking, over shopping, overworking, over gambling, over all of the things, all to not feel. It shows up as people pleasing because we want to please other people so that then they will like us. So then we don't have to be uncomfortable in their dislike. Do you see how all of this, we over explain? We think that by over explaining our position, somehow magically they will finally understand where we're coming from and they will get on board with us so we don't have to be frustrated that they don't adopt the same opinion as us. If we were just to allow them to feel however they wanted about it, we take away so much of the unnecessary pain and suffering that we create for ourselves. It shows up in underconfidence. It shows up in over control. It shows up in emotional immaturity. Avoidance of this is expensive, friends. Feeling is free. It's free. I just want us all to better normalize it, to allow people to feel without the need to try to fix it or absolve for it or buffer away from it. So here is the truth. Every emotion you avoid becomes a weight that you carry. Every emotion that you allow becomes a weight that you lift. You get to decide. You get to decide. So, do you want an emotional workout? If so, here is the workout regimen. You ready? When you feel something, name it. If you can't name it, you can't work with it. What is the weight you're going to try to lift today instead of having it weigh heavy on you as an extra burden, which we all don't need? Name the emotion. Is it frustration? Is it overwhelm? What is it? Where is it in your body? Is it in your chest? Is it in your gut? Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your throat? Witness the emotion. Allow the emotion to be there. No story, no meaning, no judgment, just observation. And you breathe with that emotion. You allow that emotion. That is the rep. This is the work. If you hold space for your emotional experience without trying to run away from it, without trying to buffer it, without trying to out eat it, right? Every time you have a feeling, if you go to the pantry to eat it away, if you go to Amazon and try to shop it away, if you just double down on work, if you just took a pause to do the rep of feeling it, that's how you get emotionally stronger. Just like reps in the gym, you get stronger by creating tension in the body. Feel it. It's not going away. There's not enough cookies that you can eat that emotion goes away. There's not enough work that you can do for that feeling to go away. That feeling stays. And now we've just doubled the problem, right? And then you release it intentionally. So create tension in the body, find the feeling, label it, give it space, and then release it. Release it. So Beautiful friends, your emotional life is not something to avoid. It is something to train. Emotional pain is not failure. It's fitness, it's capacity, it's intelligence, it's leadership, it's maturity, it's becoming someone who can handle life. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Normalize your emotions. Normalize your kids' emotions. Normalize your team's emotions. Normalize discomfort. It's okay. Normalize the work, because when emotional discomfort becomes normal, emotional mastery becomes possible. Think about emotions like weights in the gym. You can handle it. Don't want smaller weights. Want stronger emotional maturity, emotional wherewithal, right? I know we can normalize this together. And where I'm going to ask for help in this is sharing this episode with the people that you know, the people that you love, so that when you challenge them into a next possibility for them, they know where it's coming from, because they will know that it's from a place of belief that they can handle more, belief that they're ready to lift more than just 2-pound dumbbells. It's your belief in them that's going to stretch them in their capacity, again, before they have their own belief. I know that if you're listening to this, you are the leader of leaders in your life. This is the conversation that requires sharing. This is the conversation that is going to allow humanity to become more resilient, where they can handle life better. So if this episode supported you, if it challenged you, if it made you think even just a little bit differently about all the things, I would love it if you share it. I would love it if you like it. I would love it if you comment with one little insight that landed most for you. Your share might be the very exact thing that someone else needs to give them permission to, one, navigate discomfort for themselves and to start lifting heavier weights. And by challenging their teams, their kids, the humans that they do life with, to another level of standard, to a higher level of excellence, right? I love you all for being here, and I'll see you next time. If this episode cracked something open, good, let it. And then head to leahrollingcoaching.com and grab the tools to rewire the story and reclaim your future. It is yours. And then share this with someone who's still waiting to be chosen, still waiting for permission, and remind them they don't need a breakthrough, that they are the breakthrough. Until next time, my beautiful friends, invest in you and keep becoming.